Good morning. May I request everyone to please look at their respective screens for our house rules. Kindly turn off your microphones and camera during the speakers' presentations. And during the presentation of speakers, take some notes and park your questions. There will be an open forum after the pitching presentation. Feel free to use the Zoom Q&A chat box and type in those questions. For those who are watching the stream via Facebook, key in those questions you might have on the comment section. I will read them for you. The program is about to start in 5 minutes, so sit back and relax. Thank you very much. May I request everyone to please look at their respective screens for our house rules. Kindly turn off your microphones and camera during the speaker's presentations. During the presentation of speakers, take some notes and park your questions. There will be an open forum after the pitching presentation. Feel free to use the Zoom Q&A chat box and type in those questions. For those who are watching the stream via Facebook, key in those questions you might have on the comment section and I will read them for you. We are about to start our program, so thank you very much. Welcome, everyone, to this morning's event. entitled Kapihan 2021 NETPitch Season 2 under the subtitle Food and Agriculture. I am Neil, and I will be your host for this morning's affair. This event would not be possible without the support of the following institutions: UPLB Techno Transfer and Business Development Office, the Southeast Asian Regional Center for Graduate Study and Research in Agriculture, or SEARCA, and the Philippine Council for Agriculture, Aquatic and Natural Resources Research and Development, or PICARD. Thank you very much. So, to kickstart our program and share with us some of his inspiring words, let us all give a warm welcome to the Chancellor of UPLB, Dr. Jose V. Camacho Jr.
To the Director of the Technology Transfer and Promotion Division of the Philippine Council for Agriculture, Aquatic, and Natural Resources Research and Development, Mr. Noel Katibog, the Vice Chancellor for Research and Extension, Dr. Merdilin Lee, the Assistant to the Vice Chancellor for Research and Extension, Ms. Fides Marciana Tambalo, the Director of the UPLB Technology Transfer and Business Development Office, Dr. Romel Carlos, and to our guests and participants from the business sector, the academe and research institutions, and government agencies. Good morning. As the country's leading educational and research institutions in agriculture, the University of the Philippines, Los Baños, has been actively developing a variety of agricultural products and technologies. From technologies on biotechnology, crop varieties, food science, to good farming practices, farm mechanization, post-harvest techniques, and decision support systems. All these technologies were developed and designed to cater to the specificities of the university's stakeholders, as well as to the needs of the communities that UPLB serves. Today, UPLB has been given the opportunity to pitch, to showcase, and to demonstrate some of its most compelling food and agricultural products. All of these are products of UPLB's brightest and promising minds in the science and technology, who have dedicated their knowledge and strength to come up with these novel technologies. Technologies that have been proven to have significant economic and environmental values. I am sure that you will find these food and agricultural products not only innovative, but also practical and truly useful, precisely like our biofertilizers and biopesticides, which we also pitched earlier this week. Thus, I encourage everyone to listen to our presentations and feel free to ask questions regarding our products. We look forward to the partnerships and collaborations that will be born out of this event. And I also hope that this activity will continue to encourage various stakeholders to invest in agricultural technology, in research and development, and in science. Thank you very much, and I wish all of you an engaging and inspiring morning. Thank you, and stay safe. Mabuhay tayong lahat.
Magandang araw po sa ating lahat. Thank you for inviting Picard to be part of this virtual annual Technology Transfer Day of the University of the Philippines, Los Baños, an event spearheaded by the Technology Transfer and Business Development Office, or TTBDO. I believe that this activity would not be possible without the support of UPLB management led by Chancellor Jose V. Camacho Jr., Vice Chancellor for Research and Extension Dr. Merdilin Leet, Assistant Vice Chancellor Fides Tambalo, and TTBDO Director Romel Carlos. Congratulations to the organizers of this activity, the team of TTBDO Project Phase 2, headed by Prof. Glenn Baticados. You have a very impressive lineup of activities in this three-day event with both foreign and local resource speakers who are known experts in their fields. I would also like to acknowledge our team from the TTPD DPITC, or the DOST Picard Innovation and Technology Center. The UPLB TTBDO is a key member of our network of intellectual property and technology business management offices composed of 51 SUCs and RDIs. Overall, in the last 3 years, they have filed almost 1,300 IP applications for patents, utility models, trademarks, and copyrights. And this is an unprecedented number in the ANR sector. Moreover, more than 30 technologies have been licensed to private partners with 50 plus technologies undergoing negotiations for their transfer. The number could have been more if not for the limitations set by the COVID-19 pandemic since last year. Technology pitch days such as what you are holding in this event are integral in facilitating technology commercialization. As such, we are very thankful for these virtual initiatives. To our technology pitchers, when it is your turn to pitch, take a deep breath, own the stage, seize the moment, and be as convincing as possible. Let your passion excite your audience and potential investors in the same way that you are convinced that your technology can truly help its intended users. Treat it as similar to describing your child to a listener with passion and love evident in your words. But if a researcher is truly convinced of the commercial potential of his or her technology, maybe it is high time to consider putting up a startup business that would commercialize the technology with the researcher as company owner or one of the investors. We are currently implementing a grant program to support startups. Maybe you can qualify. Now to the task at hand. What are DOST Picard's funding priorities in the next few years? DOST Picard will continue to be guided by the Harmonized National R&D Agenda, or HNRDA, which was crafted a few years ago by DOST, DA, DTI, and DNR. For specific commodities, our priority areas are indicated in the Industry Strategic S&T Plan, or ISPs, for more than 30 commodities. Kindly visit our website for guidance, or you may also directly contact our ISP manager so you will know what areas still need to be addressed in our ISPs. Now, to our guests from the private sector, if you have technology needs or gaps in your operations that can be addressed through R&D, please discuss with UPLB and the concerned researchers. You are highly encouraged to come up with proposals that can be funded through the Collaborative Research and Development to Leverage Philippine Economy, or CRADLE, under the Science for Change program of DOST. Again, please visit our website to learn more about CRADLE and the three other components of S4C, such as NICER, RD-LEAD, and BIST. Now, in the next 2 months, DOST Picard and 18 SUCs and RDIs will be conducting consultation meetings with key stakeholders of 18 commodities, for example, goat, mango, shrimp, banana, etc., to come up with research gaps and technology needs of the industry. Well, we'll have 19 if UPLB TTBDO will consider this to form part of their Phase 3 proposal. Once we have this information, we will then scour patent databases through a process called patent mining. This way, our future R&D efforts will be guided by what a particular industry actually needs and by what guidance patent information can provide. By the end of this year, we will have patent mining reports that can serve as the basis for new proposals on research and technology transfer. These reports will help us identify new areas for research, what patented technologies can be worked on to develop our own, and which ones can be readily adapted under local conditions. But in order to come up with truly meaningful reports, stakeholder participation during consultations is key. As such, we are really hoping for the active participation of our national university, UPLB, and our partners from the private sector. Please watch out for our announcements on the consultation schedules, and we fervently hope that you will actively participate. In parting, I am looking forward to the success of this activity. Good luck to our pitchers. I hope your technologies will go beyond this event. And congratulations again to the TTBDO and the project team for organizing this 3-day event. Muli, magandang araw po at maraming salamat.
So that was Sir Noel Catibog, Director of TTPDP Card. And thank you for that very insightful talk on the research direction, Director Catibog. Now, before we begin our pitching session presentation, please take note of the following reminders. A maximum of 5 minutes will be allowed for the presentation of each technologies. For the participants, take note of all of your questions during the presentation. And after the presentation of the technologies, we will proceed with the Q&A portion of the webinar. Lastly, participants can mention whom their questions are directed to during the Q&A. So just mention the technology first, then type in your questions. Okay, so let's now begin with the pitching presentation this morning, starting with microencapsulated fruit bioactive powder from Bignay.
Good day, everyone. For the first episode of NETPitch Kapihan Season 2, we'll be featuring microencapsulated Bignay powder. Bioactives are chemical ingredients that are commonly found in various food products that promote positive metabolic processes in humans. Despite the numerous studies about this topic, its commercial application has been limited because of the challenges in using bioactive compounds in food development, such as stability, reactivity, and other factors like flavor and odor. Our solution to this is a product developed by Dr. Florendo Flores from the Institute of Food Science and Technology in UPLB. Microencapsulated Bignay powder has proven its merit for a utility model. This technology relates to the different methods to which the microencapsulated powder is produced. For large-scale productions, spray drying of the extract and wall material mixture is done. For small-scale productions, inclusion complexation is employed. The technology results in a product that can be used in health-promoting formulations such as food mixes and formulated feeds. So far, only foliar supplements are available in the market that are used in herbal preparations. The microencapsulated Bignay focuses on the fruit, which currently has limited applications in jam making, fruit juice, and wine production. Microencapsulation involves improving the stability of a non-shelf stable extract from Bignay fruits through inclusion complex formation. The resulting powder is purple and has a significant concentration of bioactive components with enzyme inhibitory and antioxidant activities. The microencapsulated product can be used as a food ingredient in processing products with increased anthocyanins and bioactive content. The process of microencapsulation also increases the availability of an otherwise seasonal fruit. The market is currently in early growth stage, but companies can expand market share and increase revenue by focusing on product innovations for herbal supplements and vitamins. This forecasted increase in revenue can be linked along with the consumer's rising inclination towards health and wellness. That is all. Thank you for listening, and for further information on microencapsulation and microencapsulated Bignay powder, you may direct them to UPLB TTBTO.
All right. So don't forget to take note of any questions that you may have for our question and answer portion later. Okay, so up next is the cacao pod husk dietary fiber.
NETPitch presents Kapihan Season 2 Food and Agriculture featuring cacao pod husk dietary fiber. What comes to your mind when you hear the word cacao? Chocolate, right? But what if you can get something more? Considering the cacao pod husk comprise majority of the fruit, solid waste residues are generated. Thus, serious solid waste management problems are likely to occur. Although these husks are used in low-value applications, such as animal feed in some area, they still remain underexploited, and their disposal still remains a problem at present. One sustainable strategy for the management of these solid waste residues would be by processing cacao pod husk waste into products of added value. So, Ms. Teresita Ramirez and Ms. Arsenio Sapin from Biotech UPLB found a way to utilize cacao pod husk, and the result is the cacao pod husk dietary fiber. It is a modified dietary fiber with improved qualities and versatile uses for various industries. It is derived from cacao pod husk using physical, enzymatic methods, or combination of these, and without employing chemical modification processes. So what are the features of this cacao pod husk? The proximate analysis of the untreated and pectinase-treated cacao pod husk showed increased crude protein and crude fiber contents after enzymatic treatment. The proportion of carbohydrates and crude fat decreased. The proportion of crude fiber may be attributed to the higher proportion of insoluble fiber as a result of a decrease in pectin content due to the pectinase treatment. On the other hand, increased acid detergent fiber and neutral detergent fiber implies that the pectinase-treated fiber at optimum conditions would take longer time to be eaten due to its decreased digestibility and dry matter intake. With these, most of its essential nutrient content, such as protein, carbohydrates, and ash, may be absorbed in the small intestine. This may add to potential health benefit for health-conscious individuals, since when high-fiber food are consumed, it is expected that next food intake would be significantly reduced. Also, to be used as a dietary fiber source, it is desirable that the fiber material should have desired nutritional properties, as well as functional and technological properties. Functional properties of dietary fiber determine its suitability for use as functional food. Water plays an important role on changes which are observed during baking, and addition of dietary fiber to bread leads to decreased volume of bread and increased bread firmness. Thus, a lower water and oil absorption capacity, as well as low swelling capacity and low gel hardness were desired for the resulting cacao pod husk dietary fiber. Various conditions were modified in order to arrive to a final product with improved properties. In addition, the dietary fiber from cacao pod husk have high antioxidant activity than other waste byproduct analyzed and synthetic oxidants like BHA and BHT. When added to food, antioxidant-rich fiber can increase the shelf life of food. Antioxidants also reduce the risk of cancer, atherosclerosis, and vision loss. So what are the market trends and opportunities for cacao pod husk? Well, intercropping is possible in 2 million hectares of coconut. Coconut and cacao are complementary. Intercropping these two diversifies the available produce and makes use of the soil nutrients efficiently. Furthermore, there is a high availability of cacao pod husk all year round. The country produces around 10,000 to 12,000 metric tons of cacao beans per year, generating around 7,300 to 8,760 metric tons of cacao pod husk. By utilizing cacao pod husk, it will significantly reduce the waste generated from cacao, and there will be a higher supply of raw materials for production of dietary fiber. Also, this cacao pod husk may appeal to more market due to its chocolate taste. So what are the benefits and potential application of this cacao husk dietary fiber? By utilizing cacao pod husk, cacao farmers will have additional income from this product, and the amount of waste produced will significantly decrease. Moreover, incorporating cacao pod husk dietary fiber in breads and pastries increases their fiber content and water hydration of flour. Adding fiber-rich food to your diet aids in digestion and is recommended for weight management as it lowers fat absorption and makes you feel full. Furthermore, soluble fiber was found to reduce the risk of diabetes and cardiovascular diseases by slowing down glucose absorption and decrease total and LDL cholesterol levels, respectively. So that's it for the cacao pod husk dietary fiber.
Okay, so that was the cacao pod husk dietary fiber. Up next, we have Dust Up Duck TM.
Hello everyone. This next technology is entitled Cassava Starch Potassium Sorbate Coating, developed by Dr. Lotis E. Mopera from the Institute of Food Science and Technology, College of Agriculture and Food Sciences from UTLB. The usual shelf life of salted duck eggs lasts for 3 weeks before off odors and quality decline are observed. One of the distinct characteristics of eggshells is that it is naturally porous, which makes it a possible site for microorganism penetration, which can cause spoilage. Salted egg production uses clay and salt as salting medium, which can also be a source of microbial contamination. The developed technology is a coating for salted duck eggs, which extends the shelf life of eggs by 5 to 12 weeks. It prevents the post-process microbial contamination and moisture loss. The surface of the salted duck egg is coated with a layer of food-safe and non-toxic coating, which reduces water loss rate, improving its taste and prolonging shelf life. Additionally, this includes a special film preservative for cooked salted duck eggs with barrier performance and antibacterial properties. Key benefits of the technology is that the salted duck egg's shelf life is increased to 5 to 12 weeks. It can withstand a longer travel time from the origin production facility to the market. It decreases the incidences of spoilage. The technology is also safe for consumption by humans. Since the shelf life is extensive, this can create an opportunity for salted duck egg exportation outside the Philippines. The technology will be easily accessible since the raw materials are locally available and easily sourced. Now let's look at the market for salted duck eggs. But first, duck egg production by region from 2016 to 2020. From the data presented, the highest duck producing region is in Central Luzon with 22,435 metric tons of duck eggs, followed by Western Visayas and Northern Mindanao for 2020. The estimated production of salted eggs is rated at 7% of all duck egg production. Based on that assumption, the biggest market for the technology is Central Luzon with an estimated production of 1,570 metric tons of duck eggs per year. This is followed by Western Visayas and Northern Mindanao. That is all for the market of cassava starch potassium sorbate coating. Thank you for listening.
So that was Dust Up Duck TM. Again, to our participants, don't forget to take note of any questions that you may have for our Q&A later. Next, we have the convective hot air-dried salted duck egg powder.
NetPitch presents Kapihan Season 2, Food and Agriculture, featuring convective hot air-dried salted duck egg powder. Do you like balut or penoy? How about the classic ensaladang talong with salted egg? Well, you have to thank ducks for that. However, sometimes there are problems that you have to face. Salted egg is a common egg product in the Philippines made from duck eggs that underwent the brining process. As popular as it seems, the duck egg industry are in close competition with the commercial chicken sector. Therefore, the innovation on the duck sector must be pursued to gain competitive advantage in the market and regain the growth of the industry. In the recent years, salted egg powders were developed using various drying methods, such as spray drying, freeze drying, or oven drying. However, such processing methods require large capital outlay for purchasing equipment, which may not be feasible for small and micro enterprises. To address this concern, Dr. Lotis Mopera from the Institute of Food Science and Technology developed a salted egg powder dried using convection oven drying method. So what is this convective hot air-dried salted egg powder? It is a salted duck egg powder with increased nutritional content, different color, distinct flavor profile, and produces shelf-stable products. The resulting powder was produced using a forced convection cabinet dryer, which is relatively cheaper compared to other drying methods. It was developed mainly to prolong the shelf life by dehydrating food to reduce their moisture content while maintaining their major functional properties. The nutrient composition of the salted duck egg powder was compared with a known brand of salted egg powder. Here, it is indicated as KG-SEP, and it is produced from chicken eggs that develop less nutrients compared to the salted egg powder produced from duck eggs during their salting period. The nutrient data of the salted egg powder signified that the drying method and treatments used did not have adverse effect on the initial nutrient composition of the salted egg powder samples. During the salting process, moisture diffuses out of the eggs, thus concentrating their proteins and lipids. Furthermore, the shelf stability of the powder were also determined. The water activity signifies the amount of available water for microbial growth or occurrence of chemical reactions. The observed lowering of water activity suggests that lipid oxidation and non-enzymatic browning are occurring simultaneously as storage time increases. In addition, it was also observed that the degree of yellowness intensifies as the time progresses. On the other hand, there is an average noticeable difference in the total color during the first 3 to 4 weeks of storage. After that time period, color changes are definite from weeks 5 to 7. So what are the market trends and opportunities for the salted egg powder? Well, for one, ducks are excellent free-range animals as they are adaptable and have excellent foraging abilities. Salted egg ranks the second highest in terms of volume of processed duck eggs. In 2020, the total duck egg production in the Philippines is estimated at 49.91 thousand metric tons, 7% of which is used for salted duck egg production, which is around 49,913,000 pieces. Also, recently, there is a gaining popularity of culinary dishes and snacks which incorporate salted egg powder as a flavoring. So, what are the benefits and potential application of this product? Well, for one, this will definitely maximize the income of duck egg producers. It can be produced in small or medium scale, and it can be used as an alternative to commercial food products. And there's also opportunities for export, which is good for the economy of the Philippines, of course. So that's it for the convective hot air-dried salted egg powder.
Okay, so that was the convective hot air dried salted duck egg powder. We are now down to our last two presentations, starting with seaweed dryer.
Hello everyone. This next technology is entitled Seaweed Dryer, developed by Engineer Ronel Espangan, Senior Research and Extension Engineer at Biomech SEAT UPLB. Did you know seaweed accounts for 64.15% of the aquaculture production in the Philippines for 2019? This comprises of around 1.5 million metric tons of seaweed, and it is also valued at 11,845 in millions of pesos. For the seaweed industry, before envisions to revitalize it and attain at least 5% growth annually from 2017 to 2022. For the traditional drying of seaweeds, as you can see from the pictures, the seaweed are hung or hauled by the shore. This exposes the fresh seaweed to contaminants which decreases the quality of the produce. A decreased quality of the produce will, will demand a smaller price when selling. This method of drying also presents a storage problem. In an event of unfavorable weather conditions, farmers would need to haul their harvest inside their homes. The proposed solution to these problems is the seaweed dryer technology. This technology is split into two types. The permanent type seaweed dryer as shown here, which is built on cement footings or riprap. The floating type seaweed dryer, which utilizes drum flotation device to easily move the structure. Key features of the technology are as follows. It is a greenhouse type drying chamber with foldable sidings which help to protect the seaweed from contaminants when closed and help circulate air when it is open. It boasts a 2-ton fresh seaweed capacity. For the floating type seaweed dryer, a drum flotation device is installed for easy towing. Fans are installed to aid air circulation and prevent the inside to get too hot. A lighting system is also installed for night drying activities and security. Drying trays are featured for easy loading and unloading of fresh seaweeds. Do note, all these electronics are powered with a battery installed. Through the use of the seaweed dryer, the benefits of the end user would be an increase in the potential income due to the following reasons: improvement of quality and quantity of viable raw dried seaweeds due to the protection that the seaweed dryer provides against contamination. It also provides a secure storage facility. It protects the seaweed from harmful weather conditions. The seaweed dryer also permits continuous drying activities since it utilizes air drying at night. The drying process will be less laborious overall since the structure provides convenience. Drying of seaweeds will be more efficient at 3 days for continuous sunny days and 4 to 5 days on cloudy or rainy days. The data presented here came from the Philippine Statistics Authority, and it illustrates that the highest volume of production for seaweeds is Mindanao, next is Luzon, and last is Visayas. Now let's see the top 3 regions per island for seaweed production. For Mindanao, the highest is BARMM, next is Zamboanga Peninsula, and last is Northern Mindanao. For Luzon, the highest seaweed producing region is Mimaropa, followed by small production by Bicol and Central Luzon. It is advised to build seaweed dryers on these high producing regions since this is the locations where high concentration of farmers is located. So as we can see, the highest overall is BRMM, followed by Mimaropa, and last is Zamboanga Peninsula. The value of the seaweed industry continuously increased from 2016 to 2019, then declined from 2019 to 2020. But do note that the volume of seaweed production is constant all throughout. Furthermore, the price per kilogram of seaweed is high compared to the price from 2016, as you can see in the graph below. With the help of the seaweed dryer, the value of the seaweeds industry will surely increase. The high quality seaweeds will demand a higher selling price, and more planting seasons per year increases the volume of production per seaweed farmer. This, in turn, will definitely help the farmer earn more from farming seaweeds. Thank you for listening, and this is all for Seaweed Dryer.
Okay, so that was seaweed dryer. Last but definitely not least, we have AquaSave.
Hello again, and in our last episode of NETPitch Kapihan Series Season 2, we'll be talking about AquaSave. Did you know that, theoretically, rice crops only need 10,800 liters of water per hectare? But it was estimated that 12 times more is needed to produce the minimum national average of 100 kavans of palay per hectare. One of the main reasons for this is due to evaporation, accounting to 67% of the water loss. High evaporation rate leads to high risk of crop losses and lower yield due to inefficiency of yield increasing inputs such as granular fertilizers, especially during the dry season. Dr. Milagros Peralta from the Institute of Chemistry and her team developed the technology AquaSave. It is already applied for patent and is under prosecution. Aquasave is an evaporation suppressant, which is a chemical substance that forms a monolayer on the surface of the water. This monolayer prevents water loss due to evaporation. Aquasave is environmentally friendly and biodegradable, which has no adverse effects on the growth of rice crops. The technology can be applied at a recommended rate of 700 milliliters per hectare, and the method of application is simple. Farmers just need to pour the solution in various parts of the rice field during critical stages of rice production, which is 1 week before panicle initiation, 1 week before and after flowering, and at grain filling stages. Some of the benefits of using AquaSave include reduced cost on irrigation pumps, since water need not be supplied as much, and is also because of the 57.34% decrease in water evaporation. It should be noted that the cost of AquaSave amounts to 6 to 7 kavans per hectare. However, aside from decreasing water loss, it also increases rice yield by about 18 to 22 kavans per hectare, since stress due to water loss is minimized. In the Philippines, there is a total of 5.4 million hectares of land for rice crops, which is producing approximately 19.44 million metric tons of rice as recorded in the last year of 2020. Central Luzon is the primary rice producer in the country, accounting for 19.8% of the production. This is followed by Cagayan Valley, Western Visayas, and the Ilocos region. The Department of Agriculture targets to increase rice production to address concerns on food security. In one of the interviews we conducted on companies providing product solutions in agriculture, it came up that there is indeed a lot of rice farmers who have problems due to water loss. And to cope with this, most have shifted their planting season, while some agri-solutions provider recommend the use of foliar fertilizer products as supplement in place of granular fertilizer. This is where Dr. Peralta's technology will have a huge potential in the market. It can address the concerns of water loss while also eliminating the need for other supplements. And that is AquaSave for you. For more information on the technology, you may direct them to UPLBTTBDO. Thank you.
Okay, so that sums up our pitching presentations for this morning. We can now proceed to the next part of the program, which is the question and answer portion. So before we begin, please take note of the following reminders. Please feel free to use the Zoom Q&A chat box and type in those questions. For those who are watching the stream via Facebook, key in those questions in the comment section and I will read them for you. For our researchers or inventors who are here, feel free to unmute and answer the questions during the Q&A. Lastly, participants can mention whom their questions are directed to during the Q&A. So just mention the technology first, then type in your questions. So without further ado, let us begin with our Q&A portion. So let's read some questions on the board. So for the inventors and panelists, we can now uh, open our cameras so that our participants can see our lovely faces for this morning. Okay, there you go. So let's now start. This question is directed towards Big Nine. So how much is the unit price? How about cost of production? And how long is the shelf life of the powder?
May I answer the question,
Yes po,
Camila?
sure po. Yes po.
Okay. Thank you for the question. Uh, Please understand that this is a lab scale process. So the scale up of the technology, the costing may be a little bit different. But we have done our preliminary costing. A kilogram of the spray dried bignay will be priced at about 858 pesos per kilogram. So maybe plus 10%, we'll have 858, about 943 pesos. The cost of production is estimated uh, maybe about 400 pesos. That will be the cost of production for a lab scale process. The shelf life of the spray dried bignay is estimated to last for about a year, provided that the correct storage conditions are met.
Okay po. Thank you for answering that question po. So this next question is directed towards, oh, it's Bignay again. So may statements na po ba regarding sa effects nito sa tao and may nakatry na po ba?
The short answer is no, we have not done yet. We have not done that study yet because the correct progression is that after the powder is produced, then it should be tested with animals first before we go to the higher ordered organisms. We have done our part because we were able to conduct an animal test with mice, and we were able to see that the spray dried bignay has a normal glycemic property. That means it can help normalize the glucose levels for the animals. Of course, the question is concerned with human studies. Hindi pa namin nagagawa iyon. But given the fact that bignay is a food and our raw material, our wall material is also food grade, then there's no question about how applicable the material is to humans. In other words, pwedeng kainin ito, pwedeng i-consume ito ng mga tao kasi puro food grade ang mga ginagamit natin.
Mhm. Okay po. Maraming salamat po for answering that question. So next we have, okay, so this question is directed towards cacao dietary fiber. So aside from food products, what are the other uses of the dietary fiber? Can it be produced as a capsule like fiber capsules present in the market?
Hello. Yes. The cacao pod has dietary fiber may be used as additive in nutraceuticals as well as beverages and feed.
Mhm. So do you have anything to add po, Miss Alaon?
For our study, we have only conducted its incorporation on food products, but as mentioned earlier by Miss Aryan, it also has a potential potential, it could be potential ingredient also to beverages, and it could also be used as a dietary fiber supplement po, if it will be studied po.
Okay, so thank you po for that for answering that question. So next we have okay, this question is directed towards salted egg powder. So same as the other salted duck technology, has it undergone different sensory evaluations? Does it have any difference with conventional methods?
I will have to redirect the question to Dr. Mopera to give further information about the salted egg powder.
Okay po.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning
Can you
po.
hear me? Yeah. Okay, sorry. I was answering the other questions. I was typing the answers to the
Sure.
different questions online. Okay, so that's why it took me some time. Anyway, so yes, we have conducted a sensory evaluation for the salted duck egg powder, and we can safely say that the color compared to the spray dried salted duck powders that you can see in the market is definitely more attractive to the consumers. You know. So I must highlight the color because in the Philippines, that is what is attracting the consumers towards the buying salted duck powders.
Okay po. So thank you so much po for answering that question. So okay, let's look at our questions on the board. Okay, so this question came from Mr. Norman Vargas. So this is directed towards Aquasave. What is the dilution rate of the 700 ml rate product per hectare? Thanks.
Alright, thank you for the question po. I think I might have to defer to the inventor to answer this question. But as far as I know, the product is already supplied in 700 ml bottles and dilution need not be made. It only need to be poured onto the fields. But if Dr. Peralta has any more information to add to this question, kindly unmute po, Dr. Peralta.
Yes. Hello. Yeah, we have prepared. It's not actually a solution. It's a stable suspension. It does not settle down easily, and if there is some slight inhomogeneity, all you need to do is shake it a bit. And the 700 ml container is good for 1 hectare. It by itself it will spontaneously spread across the surface of the water.
Mhm. Okay po. So thank you so much, Ma'am Peralta, for answering that question. So okay, let's now move on to the next. So I think this question is directed towards seaweed dryer. So good morning. May I ask, aside from seaweed, are there any existing algae biofertilizer in farm productions?
Hi,
Sige, sige.
thank you for
Can
your
I? Sige, sige. Go.
sorry, sir. Thank you for your question. I will refer to Sir Ronel if he has any information about your question. Sir Ronel?
Yes, actually, the seaweed dryer focus on just drying, the drying problems of the farmers. So in terms of other products, maybe you can contact SPAMAS with other users of seaweeds. So they are using it as for fertilizers. I think IPB are using it also for uh, making it into a powder form for plant growth hormone, like that. So, but for the seaweed dryer, uh, what we are doing is just to dry the newly harvested uh, produce of the farmers up to a level where they can sell it to the buyers. So our product is only the raw dried seaweeds or the partially dried seaweeds.
Okay po. So
That's it.
thank you so much po for answering that question, Sir Pagan. Okay, so let's now move on to the next question. I think this is directed towards cacao dietary fiber. So aside from food products, what are the other uses of the dietary fiber? Can it be produced as a capsule-like fiber capsules present in the market?
Hello, answered na po siya kanina. It can be used as in nutraceuticals and beverages po.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry about that one. Okay, let me just remove this from the list. Thank you. Okay. So the next one is directed. Okay, there you go. Okay, so this is for AquaSave. So knowing that some of the rice farmers now receive free irrigation from the National Irrigation Administration, how would this affect the market of AquaSave? Should AquaSave partner with NIA to promote its use?
Thank you for the wonderful question po. Um, Aquasave can be used in rain-fed systems and irrigation, water supplied by irrigation. So um, it can partner with the national irrigation system so that they can maximize the use of their water supply.
Um,
Yes,
yeah.
Miss
Well, in addition, um, the use of aquasafe is recommended for those at the tail end of the irrigation system where the water supply is not as reliable as uh, in the frontal areas of the irrigation system.
Mhm. Okay po. So thank you so much po for answering that question also, Ma'am Peralta. Okay, so okay, let's move on to the next question. Okay, so this is for salted duck egg powder. So how much is the unit price? How about cost of production? Do we have to spend more for this powder's production as compared to the present process?
To answer about the salted egg powder, the convective oven drying method is cheaper than the traditional spray drying or freeze drying methods. But if Dr. Mopera can add anything more.
Okay, sige, let's wait po for Dr. Mopera. She might be answering
Hello?
some questions.
Ayan.
Okay, there you go po.
Okay, sorry, sorry.
It's okay po.
Okay.
No problem, ma'am.
So, they're asking about the cost of production. So, if the spray dried method is around 900, then we can cut down the cost by 50% if we use the convective hot air drying. That's it po.
Okay po. So thank you so much, Ma'am Opera, for answering that question for us din po. Okay, so let's move on to the next question. Oh, okay. So this is from Mr. Luis Dator for duck egg coating. So hi, Dr. Mopera. How may I contact you for a meeting? Thank you.
Sir Luis Dator, can you please coordinate with the staff po of TTBDO and they will relay to me about the meeting? Okay. Okay po ba yun, TTBDO?
Hi, ma'am. Thank you, thank you. Hi, Sir
Um,
Luis. You can contact me directly. Actually, I have asked. Uh, may kilala kasi ako na ano na kamag-anak niyo po. That's why I got your contact details. So you can contact me po directly regarding the technology, so we can talk about it with Ma'am Mapera more po. Thank you po.
Okay, so that's a good thing. So let's now move on to the next question. Okay, so this is directed towards, I think, for all the technologies. Okay, so are licensing agreements exclusive or non-exclusive? So feel free to answer na lang po for this question. Are licensing agreements exclusive or non-exclusive? So that was the question po.
Hi guys. Actually, licensing agreements are non-exclusive. It's just that multiple companies can apply for licensing agreements, but only a handful can be accepted due to the documentary requirements and other requirements that the OST has imposed. So if there are maybe 5 companies who are applying for a licensing agreement, but maybe 4 of them did not uh, did not make the standard or submit the documentary requirements, only one of them uh, can be qualified.
I'll just add to that. Later po, we will be showing possible agreements with interested potential industry partners. And this non-exclusivity clause in our licensing agreements came from the technology transfer law of the Philippines. So as much as we want to give the most, as much as we want companies to maximize profits from our technologies and for it to reach other people, we are mandated by law not to do that, to minimize monopoly of the technology. And so we can actually, somehow circumvent by designating regions for the licensing agreements for each companies. So that whichever region you want to sell or manufacture the product of UPLB, that's what we're going to include in the agreement. But more on that later. Our staff will discuss more agreements with you.
Okay, so thank you so much for answering that question, Miss Buan and Mr. Bacalangco. Okay, so the next question is directed towards Aquasave. So does it have any adverse effects on the produce itself, and will it not be absorbed by the plant?
All right. Thank you for that question. As far as the results of the field tests, it does not have any adverse effects on the produce itself. In fact, it improved the yield per hectare of the rice crops. And this is actually a very good question because it's one of the aspects of the technology where we can have a collaborative agreement with industries which can provide agricultural solutions to farmers. But lucky for us, we have here Dr. Peralta, so maybe she could give more information to this question.
Okay, the major components are all food grade and biodegradable, and we use only small amounts for application per hectare because all we want is to produce a surface film, basically a monolayer. Um, we we put in an excess just to make sure that the film will heal, but even with the excess amounts added, there is no there's very little, how shall I say this? Uh, Still, the amount is very small as to have an adverse effect. As I said, the major components are uh, biodegradable and non-toxic. We did the cytotoxicity tests, and no cytotoxicity was observed. The mixture was subjected to cytotoxicity tests using artemia. That's a test organism that's widely used, and no cytotoxicity was observed.
Okay po. So thank you so much po, Ma'am Peralta, for answering that question. Okay.
Excuse me. Yes, I will just add some more information regarding the non-exclusive agreements. So non-exclusive, but for the agreements, but we can categorically give territory or field of use, some sort of like that, exclusive arrangement for the industries. Say, for example, one company can license a technology for Luzon, and others can license it in Visayas or Mindanao. I hope that clears everything. Thank you.
Okay. So thank you for that clarification, Miss Buwan. So I'm just gonna mention some of the questions here on the Zoom chat box that was answered by our inventors. This is for our audience watching via the Facebook stream that we have, because of course they won't be able to see these questions. So let's start with this one. Okay, so this was directed towards cacao pod husk. So madami ba mapagkukunan ng cacao husk? Anong ginagawa ng mga farmers sa pods? So this was answered by Miss Alaon. So Ma'am Alaon, can you please state your answer towards our audience, towards the participants as well?
Sure. Bale, as I've answered earlier, there is I think, sufficient source of cacao pod husk kasi, as was mentioned earlier by Miss Aryan, cacao is intercropped with coconut farms. So probably some of the coconut farms has cacao in addition to the cacao farms talaga. In the Philippines po, the region which produces most of the cacao is actually found in Davao region. So if gusto natin ng raw material for the cacao dietary fiber, Davao would be the best place po to get it. However, I bought in other parts of the Philippines, there are also there are still sources of cacao pod husk po. Yun po. I guess in terms of the practice po of the farmers, or what are they doing with the cacao pod husk, as I think, the cacao pod husk uh is 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 being disposed as waste po. Hindi po masyadong wala pong masyadong utilization of the cacao pod husk po as a high value product po. Yun lang po.
Okay po. So maraming salamat po for answering that question, Ma'am Alaon. Okay, so let's look for other questions that was answered earlier by our inventors. So, okay, so this was directed towards duck egg coating. So, are there any sensory evaluation done for the said increase of 5 to 12 weeks? Are there any changes in the taste and the color? So, Ma'am Opera answered this question earlier. So, Ma'am, can you please kindly share with us your answer to this question? Okay, so I think baka sinasagutan pa ni
Sorry.
Ma'am Opera. Oh,
Hello?
there you go. Yes, ma'am.
Hello.
Okay.
Yeah,
Hello pa, ma'am.
sorry. Okay. Okay. So we did sensory analysis po, and in terms of the taste, there was no significant difference. However, there was some significant changes in the color, but still, it is the shelf life is still longer than if we do not apply the coating. So, yeah, that's it.
Okay po. Maraming salamat po, Ma'am Opera, for answering that question po for our viewers po sa Facebook stream. So, yeah, maraming salamat po ulit. Okay, so
Okay.
balik tayo dun sa question na we can answer live for everyone. So this was asked by Mr. Norman Vargas. So to clarify, so this is a clarification question. For AquaSave, application is simply pouring the product in the rice paddies. A 700 ml product per hectare is quite challenging to apply. So can it be sprayed using the common knapsack sprayer?
Hello. I'm gonna defer this question to Dr. Peralta since she is more knowledgeable on the application of AquaSave. Dr. Peralta.
Well, we have not tried the sprayer, frankly. This is, if let me just give you a bit of history, because somebody also asked this in the Q&A if there are similar products elsewhere. Um, yes, there are, but in fact, this started as a techno transfer project of Picard. Okay, but we were able to tweak the formulation so we would have a uh, we would have a product that is much easier to handle and to disperse. We have not tried the um, we have not tried the sprayer because we did not uh, because it's so easy to pour. Okay, and we did not think about maybe using it for the sprayer because it is also a stable suspension. If you use a sprayer, then you might have some waste from parts of the suspension being left in the sprayer. So we thought this was easy enough to apply as is. Okay.
Okay po, Ma'am Peralta. Thank you so much po for answering that question. So, Sir Vargas, hopefully, na-clarify po itong inyong katanungan. So, yan. Thank you po.
And may I add also
Okay po.
that this has been extensively tested in more than 50 hectares of rice land all over the Philippines from the Techno Transfer project. So it's not something that is untested. Extensive yung field testing nito, and then very recently we we published uh, an article in the Philippine Journal of Agricultural and Biological Engineering on a small scale field testing of the new formulation.
Mhm. Okay po, ma'am. So, thank you po for those clarifications and those notes po for this particular question. Okay po. So, let's move on to the next set of questions. We actually have three questions here from Mr. Ivy Buan. Okay, so let's start with this is for directed towards Bignay. So, oh, sorry, Miss Ivy Buan. Sorry. Okay, so regarding Bignay, are there enough raw materials for commercial production?
Uh, Let me answer the question. Yes, there's ample supply for Bignay, despite the seasonal nature of Bignay. You see, IFST had long studied Bignay, and we were able to get in touch with the local growers of Bignay. Now, let me take this opportunity as well to answer another question. Inilagay ko kasi I wanted to answer that question live. Someone asked about well, this was the first time that the person had heard about Big Night Powder. Meron bang ganitong products? Ano yung difference ng product? You see, Big Night is endemic to Southeast Asia, and there are commercially available products related to Big Night. Kaya lang yung mga products na yun, they have focused on the leaf and the bark. Kasi according to our ethno-pharmacology, nakakababa daw ng blood sugar yung yung leaf decoction. Tapos for the men, nakaka-increase ng libido yung decoction made from the bark. Pero please don't take this from me, ha. Hindi namin inaral yun, unqualified yung health claim na yun. Meron lang ganoong folk knowledge about Bignay. Now, our product differs from the available products that focus on the leaves kasi yung product namin nakafocus dun sa fruit. Now, if you ask, or if someone says, hindi po ba kapag po kapag po galing sa halaman, lagi naman po yung merong health effect. That is generally true. The difference, however, if you have product that contains anthocyanins, yung purple na pigment, meron siyang additional health effect kasi we have come across papers that anthocyanins can actually cross the blood-brain barrier. Anong ibig sabihin kapag yung anthocyanin, yung purple pigment, makapag-cross sa blood-brain barrier? Merong mga health supplements sa Japan para sa mata na nakafocus siya sa sa anthocyanins. Tapos, syempre yun talaga makakatawid yun sa blood-brain barrier. Kaya kapag phenolics, meron naman talagang health benefit, general statement ito. Pero kapag phenolics and anthocyanins, kumbaga merong additional na health benefit siya na hindi mo makukuha kung sa phenolics lang. Siyempre, we'd like to qualify this health claim. We would like to conduct more human studies in the future just for the health claim. But the product that we are making, or the product that we have applied for a utility model, hindi lang siya para sa health promoting properties. We wanted to design this product para magamit din siya as a food ingredient. Thank you po.
Okay, so thank you so much po for answering that question. Actually, it was very informative kasi po nasagot din po niya yung katanungan earlier. So I think na-encompass naman na po lahat ng questions regarding Big Night. So again, thank you so much po. Okay, so let's look for that other question. Okay, this is from Miss Ivy Buwan again. So this is directed towards AquaSave. So what is the total investment cost for putting up for a small production plant? What machineries are needed?
Hello, Miss Buwan. Thank you for the question. For the similar product, I'm sorry, you're talking about a small production plant. That is something we can discuss when during the negotiation for an agreement between our companies or whatever industry is interested in AquaSave. And I'm sorry, but at this point of the agreement, we cannot disclose any technology related or technicals of the technology because we are bound by the we're bound by the non-disclosure agreement rather. So if you are interested, please contact UPLB TTBDO and we'll be more than happy to accommodate the meeting with you. Thank you.
Okay, there you go. So hopefully nasagot po ni Miss Buwan ang inyong pong katanungan. Okay, so let's see here. Okay, so I'm just gonna mention this in passing since may nagsabi po kanina na if sprayed, most of AquaSave will land in rice leaves or land elsewhere due to wind. So ang sagot po ni Ma'am Peralta to this comment is yes, this is a disadvantage of spraying. My co-inventors from Institute of Agricultural Engineering are in a better position to comment on this because they took care of the field trial. So siguro po, mag-follow up na lang po tayo dito using our email po, using the email of UPLBTTBDO para po magkaroon po ng discussion towards this question. Okay, so yun po. Okay, so let's move on to the next question. So this is actually directed towards all products. So ang gawin na lang po natin, siguro isa-isa na lang po from our panelists and inventors. So yun po. What if I only want to be a reseller or distributor or user? Will I wait for the product to be out in the market?
Hello. I think this is best answered by our technology transfer officers from UPLBTTBDO. Jaliza, Aldrix, maybe you could answer this question. Thank you.
Okay, so there you go. Okay, so while we wait po for Miss Halbuena and Sir Aviso, I just wanted to thank everyone again for giving out lots of questions to our inventors and our panelists. We can see po na marami pong interesado sa ating technology. So, mag-type lang po kayo ng mga katanungan ninyo and we'll read it po for you. And of course, our inventors are here po to answer all your questions. Okay, so I think Miss Halbuena is ready to answer the question. Tama po ba?
Hello po, good morning. Regarding distributorship, since production is limited at UPLB, pwede lang po kaming mag-introduce sa inyo ng marketing agreements, pero on limited scale lang din po. Um, Actually, later on, we will have a presentation regarding ano po yung agreements na pwede natin i-explore with these technologies para po mapag-usapan natin kung ano yung kailangan nyo na amount. But for users, since these are not yet available in the market, yun po yung kailangan naming hanapin. Naghahanap din po kami ng industry partners para sila po yung maging manufacturers. Um, So, yun po yung pwedeng maging ah, path po nitong mga technologies natin.
Okay po. So thank you po for answering that question, Miss Albuena. And nag-raise po ng hand si Doc Pangan. So sir, ano po pong masasabi po ninyo tungkol po dito
Yeah.
sa...
Okay. So actually for the seaweed dryer, actually it's a hardware. So malaking unit ito. So hindi siya pwedeng as a reseller. So that's why we are looking for that big unit. Ang kailangan natin diyan is manufacturers. Ila-license natin sila. So and can you give me a chance no para i-summarize ko? I was answering almost all the questions for seaweed dryer I answered. No? So gusto ko lang i-summarize, no? Kasi may nagtanong, how about yung problem sa typhoon? So that's why we have two models, the permanent and the floating type seaweed dryer. So not all areas na pwede yung floating type. Unless may mga coves kayo or you have area where you can tow the unit para safe siya for strong wind. No? So na-consider na naman namin yung sa design. So matibay na siya. Tapos the unit cost production including installation is around 350 to 400,000. So for an ordinary seaweed farmers hindi niya kaya yan. So that's why we are partnering with some LGUs, government agencies or government agencies. So we have constructed already 21 units with the funding support from DOST, NGO like Protect Wildlife, Meloy Fund, and Lutheran. No? And we have partnership agreements with local government units. So para marami kasing funds available for the farmers that they can avail. No? Just like RCEP. So pinamimigay mga traktora, combine. So maybe we can do that also for seaweeds. That's it. Thank you. Thank you for the time.
Okay po. Thank you so much po, Sir Pangan, for answering that question. It was very informative. Ang dami po niya nasagot sa inyong mga katanungan po. Okay, so I'm just gonna follow up on the comment earlier by Mr. Ferdy Eusebio. Actually, he is an agricultural engineer. So he said, no worries. I sent that in support to the answer of Dr. Peralta, and it's actually not to raise another question. So yun po. Okay, so para po dun sa nanonood po ngayon, so I hope that clarifies po yung ating katanungan kanina or yung comment po natin kanina. Okay, so let's move on to the next question. Actually, I think we have more time pa naman po on our hand. So just keep sending those questions that you have po, okay? Okay, so the next question is directed towards um, salted egg powder. I hope this wasn't answered yet. Okay, I'm just reading the question. So same as the other salted duck technology, has it undergone different sensory evaluations? Okay. I think na-answer na to kanina. Okay. Okay. Scratch that. Okay, so let's look for other sets of questions. Okay, I'm gonna look at the questions answered by our inventors. Okay, this is for our audience in our Facebook live stream. So this was directed towards salted egg powder. Okay, so what other products can be produced from the powder? Has it been used in known products already? Have you contacted users of the salted egg powder? So, Ma'am Opera, is it okay po ba if you can share your answer para po sa ating audience sa Facebook?
Okay, yeah, sure po. Okay, so first question is, what are the product applications of salted duck egg powder? So we can use it as a food ingredient, as toppings for pastries, for congees, and also as coatings for snack foods like chips. Similar to what you see in, I think there's a popular product from Singapore now, wherein they use salted egg powders. And the second question is, ano nga ulit yun? Sorry.
Ay, okay po. So,
What's the other
yung
question?
the other question po is, has it been used in known products already?
Yeah, I think it's been used by Earrings, I think, and nag-promote pa ako, sorry. I think that's the most popular brand of snack food wherein they use salted egg powder.
Okay po. So, last follow-up question po to that. Have you contacted users of the salted egg powder?
Actually, our funding agency, Picard, mentioned already a company that might be interested in the product actually, but we haven't make a formal agreement with them yet.
Mm, okay po. So, maraming salamat po, Ma'am Opera, for sharing with us your answer to this question earlier. Okay. So, let's move on to the next question. Okay, this is coming from Miss Ivy Buwan. So, what is the advantage of spray drying salted egg?
Sorry. Okay, what is the advantage of spray drying? Sorry. Um, First po, similar to any drying method, it will help stabilize the product, okay, by reducing the moisture and the water activity, as stated in by our presenter earlier, no? And another one is we use carriers in spray drying, and that would uh, sort of increase the bulk density and the solubility of the product or the final product. Okay, I think compared to conventional oven drying, that is the advantage of using spray drying. I don't know if Dr. Flores has additional information on this.
Okay po.
Sir
So,
Floyd? Yeah.
Hello. Thank you for that question. Thank you, Madam, for referring that question. Uh, Let me share this. Dr. Mapera and I are both involved in that project. Si Ma'am Mapera ang project leader. Definitely, the main advantage of spray drying over conventional drying is that you come up with a finer powder. So if that's what you want, a finer powder that you can use as a coating agent, probably as a seasoning agent, then by all means let's spray dry the salted egg powder. Now, ako kasi meron din akong research doon sa Bignay na pwedeng spray dried siya. Meron ding microencapsulated na conventional drying siya, convection oven. Gusto ko lang masagot din yung part about convective drying. Hindi naman kasi mali ang convective drying. Ang tingin ko, ang advantage ng convective drying, if you are a small scale processor. Halimbawa, ayaw nyo mag-repack, gusto nyo meron kayong control dun sa process. Siyempre, meron namang licensing agreements yun. Pero kung gusto nyo magkaroon ng greater control, baka gusto nyo maging small scale processor. Yun na advantage naman ng convective drying. Pwedeng magawa yung small scale processing. Merong question kanina from Dr. Cadiz. Ma'am, meron po kaming convection dryer o convective dryer po sa IFST. Siyempre, susulat na lang po kayo kay Dr. Mopera kung paano po siya magagamit. Yung advantage po niya kasi mas madali po siyang gamitin, mas madali pong mag-design nito, magpa-fabricate nito. Ang ang difference lang po kapag po meron pong contribution yung IFST kasi naaral na po namin kung paano po siya i-spray dry. Naaral na rin po namin kung paano po siya i-convective dryer na meron po kami i-add na carrier. Kasi ang goal po namin hindi lang makagawa. Gusto po namin na shelf stable ito. Alam niyo naman po, ang gusto nating maalat na itlog ay yung malangis na maalat na itlog. Yun din po ang gusto namin. Kapag po gawin nating powder yan, syempre kailangan meron pong good flowability o good flowing properties yung salted egg powder, whether manufactured via spray drying or convective drying. Yun po, meron pong technology dyan ng IFS. Thank you po.
Okay, so Sir Flores, thank you po for answering that question. And thank you rin po for mentioning na yun nga po, tama, meron pong question kanina si Ma'am Cadiz. So I hope na sagot po ang inyong katanungan about po sa dried salted eggs po. Okay, so I think we have time for two more questions po. Kung yun pong nakalagay sa ating question and answer box, so yun na lang po ang ating may entertain for this morning. So before those two questions, okay, we have a message from Mr. Mark Balinya. The seaweeds dryer project of Dr. Pangan were successfully implemented here in Zamboanga del Norte. So thank you, regards, Dr. Pangan. So yun po. Sakto, may
Thank you.
nag-iwan po ng message sa inyo, sir.
Thank you, thank you.
Okay, so okay.
Hindi lang kasi ako makapunta doon. Hindi pa makapasyal.
Ayun po. So,
Thank you.
sakto po, may message din po sa inyo si Dr. Pangan. Okay, so we have time for uh, two more questions. This is actually directed both towards AquaSave. So, the first question is, yeah, first time ko pong makarinig ng ganito. May kaparehas na po ba siya na produkto and saan po kaya pwede makakuha ng ganitong produkto upang ma-try?
Thank you po for the question. Uh, a quick Google search po actually does not exactly return any evaporation suppressant that is used by farmers here in the Philippines. Since, as mentioned earlier, some agri-solutions provider recommend foliar fertilizers to compensate for the to compensate for the water loss. AquaSafe specifically is not available in the market for now, and that is also one of the many possible agreements for this technology. Maybe to add more question to this, we can actually have Dr. Peralta, since she has more contact with during her field trials.
Excuse me. Excuse me, Aina. The question is on whether there are other products in the market. Not that I know of, because way back in year 2000, when we finished the first phase of the project, there was a technotransfer uh, arrangement, but unfortunately, um, the project leader at the time, Dr. Baradas, passed away. So somehow the arrangement fell through. I understand that eventually his industry contact was also no longer um, available. He also passed away eventually. So there was a long time where there was not much activity on this, but uh, we have been receiving uh, inquiries from various sectors especially in relation to drought-related problems with rice. And so I could see that there was some interest in this. So we decided to improve on the formulations and to introduce other uh, active compounds so that the formulations could also be improved. So what we did was to uh, make a stable suspension, which allows us to uh, transport the product and as well as to prepare the product without any worries about flammability because the previous solvent was concentrated ethanol. So that's difficult to handle. So now we have a carrier, a solvent carrier, which is basically water based. And
Okay po.
it allowed us to make a more concentrated suspension, which is easier to transport.
Okay po.
I
So,
hope that
Ma'am Peralta,
answers.
thank you po.
Yeah, thank you.
Mhm. Thank you rin po. It has been an insightful uh, way of answering those questions po, Ma'am Peralta. So again, thank you so much. And actually, sakto po, may pahabol pong question from Mr. Norman Vargas. And I think this is the last question that we will entertain for this morning. So for AquaSave, will this product work on rolling topography, especially in yellow corn crop?
Oh, take note that the product works well in standing water if you want a product that is grown in flooded soil because that's why we targeted rice. And also, if you have a fish pond, then that will also work well in reducing evaporation on the surface of the pond. Okay, but it won't work. You won't need it if the product does not need flooded uh, area for planting. Kaya tina-target namin, you don't really need to flood the soil for rice all throughout the growing season, but you only target the flowering stage as well as later on uh, the tillering stage and then the flowering stage. I hope that answers the
Mhm.
question.
Okay.
Thank
Okay
you.
po. Ma'am, last na daw po. May pahabol pa po from Miss Ivy Buwan po again. So, Dr. Peralta, every cropping po ba application ng AquaSafe?
Oh yes, because we also looked at how long it will stay in the field, and this perhaps can answer the question raised earlier whether it will accumulate in the field. There are several mechanisms uh, the by which aquasave will disappear from the field. It could be that it will um, be decomposed by microorganisms because, as we mentioned earlier, it's biodegradable, or it can seep through the soil with water, um, as well as other things. So um, the you need to, as we mentioned earlier, you need to apply this only on the in the critical or during the critical periods of the uh, rice growth stage, tillering and flowering.
Mhm. Okay po. So, thank you so much po, Ma'am Peralta, for answering that question po.
You're
And
welcome.
okay po. So again, we would like to say thank you to our inventors who are here today. So bigyan po natin sila ng masigabong palakpakan. Okay. Maraming salamat po for being here. And actually that sums up po our question and answer portion. And to our participants, we say thank you. You've had a lot of questions for us and for the inventors. And kitang-kita po namin ang inyong interest sa mga technologies po na na-present ngayong umaga. So again, maraming maraming salamat po sa inyong lahat. So, a few reminders po. If you have any more questions with our panelists that we weren't able to answer, you can contact UPLB TTBDO through the contact details that will be flashed on your screens. So I'm gonna mention that na rin po. It's via email. It's ctte.uplb@up.edu.ph. So there, it's already flashed on your screens. And yep, that's everything that you need to know po with the Technology Transfer and Business Development Office. So please take note po of the following details. Okay, thank you. So, yun po, yung mga katanungan po kanina, kung meron pa po kayong part questions na hindi po namin nasagot, so kindly refer to the email na lang po. Okay. So, let's now move on to the next part of the program. So now, to give us a presentation on the next steps towards commercialization, let us welcome Mr. Aljex Aviso, Technology Transfer Officer from UPLB TTBDO. Okay, so there seems to be a bit of a technical difficulty. So while we wait, again, we truly appreciate everyone who is here right now. Especially then, of course, doon sa ating mga viewers sa Facebook live stream via the TTBDO page. And I think also the SEARCA page. So, okay, so I think we are ready for Mr. Avisa's presentation. So take it away.
We are looking forward to. Good morning, everyone. Thank you very much for listening to the pitch presentations of UPLB Technologies for Food and Agriculture. I hope that these technologies captured your attention for future collaborations. We are looking forward to explore possible partnerships with you through licensing agreement, pre-commercialization agreement, further trials and development through research service agreement, and market scanning through marketing agreement. Other types of partnerships and collaborations are very much welcome. If you're interested, send us a letter of intent addressed to Dr. Jose V. Camacho Jr., Chancellor, University of the Philippines, should also state the partnership you are seeking. Attached to the letter of intent is a short background of your company or your profile if an individual. If you have further concerns and inquiries on possible partnerships and other UPLB technologies, you may contact the technology transfer officers listed in your screens. Thank you and have a nice day.
Okay, so thank you very much for that very informative talk on the next steps toward commercialization, Mr. Aviso. So I hope our participants were able to take note of the following contact details. So there you go. If you have any more questions about that, please don't hesitate to send an email to ctte.uplb@up.edu.ph. Okay, so moving on, in line with SEARCA's goal towards accelerating transformation through agriculture innovation or ATTAIN, let us all learn about SEARCA's emerging innovation for growth programs initiatives to attain Agriculture 4.0 through open collaboration, agri-incubation, and technology transfer through this short video. Let's all watch this.
The evolving context of agriculture, rural development, and state of farmers as aligned with global goals focus on the contribution of agriculture to hunger and malnutrition eradication. SEARCA has embraced the rhythms of change with new, innovative practices to transform the lives of farmers and the agricultural industry. With its mission to elevate the quality of life of agricultural families through sustainable and resilient livelihoods, SEARCA steers agriculture from the traditional farming production towards an agribusiness perspective in a modern agriculture ecology by accelerating transformation through agricultural innovation to attain Agriculture 4.0. The SEARCA innovates model of open collaboration with academe industry government interconnectivity is a combination of independent but highly integrated component tool designed to attain sustainable development goals through Agriculture 4.0. A modern world transformed by innovative technologies, processes, and dynamics. The SEARCA Innovates component tools include Index. As the research and information arm of projects powered by the SEARCA Innovates model of open collaboration. SERVs. Specialists and experts for rural viable emerging solutions that identify and implement innovative but practical solutions to persistent farming challenges. Ideates. Innovation competitions that focus on engaging the youth, children, students, and brilliant minds in promoting agri-innovation to modernize agriculture and build local rural innovation ecosystems. Blocks. Building linkages and open collaboration for knowledge systems is an innovative and open shared service hub promoting locally adaptable agri-technologies that can be adopted by small farmers and rural communities. A for Life, Agriculture 4.0 livelihood integration towards farming enterprises for building local and community-based innovation ecosystems and inclusive agribusiness value chains to produce a generation of green startups and agripreneurs. And Space, the Southeast Asia platform to attain collaboration and empowerment for a powerful innovation and open collaboration gateway for agri-incubation and technology transfer information, programs, resources, and networks in the world where SEARCA operates. Powered by SEARCA Innovates model, the Emerging Innovation for Growth, EIG, as the new program in SEARCA's 11th five-year plan steps out from old ways that are no longer farmer benefiting to attain Agriculture 4.0 under three focus areas, namely open collaboration and agri-incubation, knowledge and technology transfer tools, and project development monitoring and evaluation. SEARCA partners to usher farmers out of the belief that farming is limited to production as an agribusiness operating in a modern agriculture ecosystem for better, bigger, smarter impact to farmers and farming families.
Get involved, spread the word. SEARCA innovates. If you're connected with a group that supports agriculture for farming families, we invite you to collaborate with our academe, industry, government partnership for better, bigger, smarter innovations. Together, let's attain Agri 4.0.
Okay, so that was Circa's Attain Agriculture 4.0. Okay, so before we officially end our program this morning, let us all welcome Ma'am Fides Tambalo, Assistant to the Vice Chancellor for Research and Extension in UPLB, for the closing remarks.
Good morning. It's been a pleasure being with all of you today. First of all, I would like to offer my warm gratitude to all our industry partners and investors. Our friendship through the years thrills us to nurture creativity and innovation inside the university. To our researchers and investors, I believe that all of you have well done through the event, though I think 2 days is not enough. In the first event, whose main theme was NETPitch presents Kapihan, we showcased UPLB technologies in sustainable farming, food, and aquaculture. While on Technology Transfer Day, we talk about commercializing agri-technology, reflecting on the current market needs and opportunities, and I observed your excellent presentations and fluid exchanges of views, so I can conclude that the purpose of the event has been completely accomplished. University of the Philippines Los Baños is a home to world-class scientists and researchers. More than a third of the Philippine national scientists are from UPLB. We are leaders in the fields of agriculture, veterinary medicine, forestry, education in the country and in Southeast Asia. As researchers, we are fully aware that we've got work cut out for us. We are more than just leaders of innovation, we are trailblazers. We lobby for greater public sector budgetary support. We lobby for the updating of national policies in our fields of specialization. We lobby for incentives to retain our best and brightest. We lobby towards transformation of the scale of our intellectual property. On top of that, we work towards utilization of our newfound knowledge. Our goal is clear, and this is to spark significant change and public good no matter what. One of the things that we've learned from this event is that to kickstart a vibrant innovation and technology ecosystem, our role as researchers is significant. In fact, the success of the UPLB innovation largely depends on how we hold out to the end. Thus, I sincerely hope that you have made a meaningful network here. Our relationship with our industry partners will lay the foundation on the successful commercialization of all our UPLB technology. Last but not the least, I would like to thank the UPLB Technology Transfer and Business Development Office for organizing such a meaningful event. And on behalf of the Office of the Vice Chancellor for Research and Extension, I wish you and all our participants every success. Thank you.
Okay, so thank you, Ma'am Tambalo, for those inspiring words. So for our participants, we will send you a feedback form right after that you need to answer via email, which will help us generate your certificates of participation. I would also like to invite everyone to attend the Techno Transfer Day 2 later this afternoon at around 1:30 p.m. We will have Dr. Adrian Bradley, Dr. Andrew Sharkowski, and engineer Jarek Bermudez as our guest speakers. So, yep, there you go. So, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. I hope everyone had a great time and learned a lot of things, especially from the pitching session and the Q&A. This event would not be possible without the support of the following institutions: UPLB, TTBDO, SEARCA, and Picard. Again, thank you very much to our guests and participants who attended our webinar. This has been your host, Neil, signing off. Take care and have a great day, everyone, and I'll see you again later.